Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Periods, brought to you by none other than the official box owner. I'm your host, Mandii B. Super excited today to have yet another boss ass woman on today's episode. She is a women's health nurse practitioner and she is also a CEO. That's right, we have another box partner joining us on this week's episode, and I'm super excited because yes, baby, as always, well, not always, but most of the time, we're talking periods. We're talking lady parts. We're talking your menstrual cycle. So guys, it is another tale of womanhood for women by women. And now I would love to introduce our guest. We have Annterria Bruce, women's health nurse practitioner and the CEO and founder of Vagesty. Annterria, thank you for joining us today.
Good evening. Thank you for having me, Mandii. This is a great opportunity.
I am so excited to talk a little bit, not only about your business, but about your journey and also about your profession. But let's start from the very beginning because you definitely focus on some menstrual products that were introduced to me at a very young age. So
Right.
I would love to know kind of what is your journey with your period? Was it a normal one? Were you able to talk about it with your mother? And let's start kind of from there.
Okay. As I can remember, at an early age, about 16, I was on birth control. So my periods were light. So when I got off birth control, I noticed that they were heavy. I had clots. So many women deal with that, right?
Yes.
And then it became irregular. So I would go maybe 3 or 4 months without a period, but I didn't think nothing of it. But it was when I got the diagnosis of PCOS when I realized this is
Mm.
my reason for having irregular periods. Or when I do have a period, it will be heavy with clots. Like I will be cramping. Sometimes I just want to be able to go to work. It'll interfere with my daily living.
Now, a lot of the women that I've spoken to on this podcast don't get diagnosed with endometriosis, with PCOS. A lot of those go undiagnosed because a lot of doctors honestly just say heavy periods are normal. Cramping is normal. Pain is normal. A lot of things surrounding our menstrual cycle has been normalized. So at what age did you actually get diagnosed with PCOS?
I was about 26 years old. So a lot of women do not get diagnosed until they're either trying to have a baby and realize they can't get pregnant,
Ah,
or if they suffer with unwanted hair in their face. And I'm like, well, why I got this hair in my face? Those are some symptoms of PCOS: infertility, um, unwanted facial hair, or even trouble losing weight. So that's when they figure out, okay, well, that's what's causing me to not be able to get pregnant or lose weight this way because I have PCOS. Because a certain diet and a certain exercise that is recommended for women with PCOS.
was that your story? Is that what kind of led you to be concerned outside of the blood clots? Did you have any other concerns or symptoms?
Yeah, yeah, I was missing my cycle for like 3 or 4 months, and I was taking pregnancy tests,
I
and
would
it
do
was
the
negative.
same.
Yes, I'm like, wait a minute, I know and I already had a daughter, and I realized too
Okay.
after doing research, after going to master's school for my nursing, that 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 was normal for some women not to have their period at a certain time in their
Okay.
lives, right? So when I went to go get checked out, and the doctor looked at my neck, it was black, it was darker, and she was like, "Well, you have PCOS." I was like, "What is that?" And she's like, "I could tell it's called insulin resistance." A lot of people now, women and men with diabetes, they may have dog ring around their necks and things like
Right.
that, dog ring under their breasts, under their chest. So that's how I discovered what it was. And so I learned about it. I did my research, and then by me going through school, and it's coming up as a topic of discussion, and
Right.
me going through my own journey, trying to lose weight, um, different medications and regimens to help with battle the symptoms of PCOS.
Well, and that's the thing. I know that even for those of you who have not yet, if you go all the way back to, it was within my first 10 episodes, I recorded with a good friend of mine by the name of Kiki. So, guys, we talked about her journey with PCOS as well. And
Okay.
I'll be honest, the dark ring is something that's new that I'm hearing. And again, another symptom that I wasn't aware of, and hopefully you just taught something to our listeners. If there's some sort of discoloration, that's actually a
Correct.
symptom as well.
Yes, it could be around their neck, it could be on their armpits, it can be under their breasts. Yes.
Oh,
That's a
wow.
sign of insulin resistance. That's why women with PCOS are more prone or more at risk of having diabetes, type 2 diabetes in the long run.
Okay, now you already had a child, and I know that birth control is something that they actually recommend to then regulate your period.
Exactly. And that's how
So,
I got pregnant. I was
wait,
19 when I
wait.
got, yes.
Oh, wait, on birth control?
Well, no, listen. So I was on birth control and I got it off. And the time for when they say you're trying to have a baby when you get on birth control, it take about 3 months. So that's what
Yes.
regulated me. And I ovulated and I got pregnant, right? So she is, when I got with my husband, she was like 6, 7 years old at the time.
Okay.
So if we're having sex and I'm not getting pregnant, I was like, okay, something is not added up here.
Okay.
And I was able to get pregnant before, but it was because I was on birth control. I regulated my cycles then. Now, since I had a baby, now my cycles went back irregular. So now it'll be hard for me to conceive. Yeah.
So, where are you now with your period journey? Because so if you were missing periods and you're also, dealing with PCOS, what is your menstrual cycle currently like?
So to help me with my journey with PCOS, I don't mind sharing that I had gastric sleeve surgery
So did I.
because you
Hey, we're sleeve
okay.
sisters.
Yes, Lisa. So I was like, okay, Annterria, you have this surgery. You know the fertility is going to increase. Do I want to have a baby right now?
Okay.
So right after I was already taking the pill. So when I came home from surgery, I maybe like a day or two later, I continued taking my birth control pills because I didn't want to have a baby right after surgery. I
Yeah,
really
they
wanted to lose
actually,
the weight.
yes.
Yeah,
And for those of you listening, the gastric sleeve surgery is pretty much what I also went through. I've shared my weight loss journey here on the show, but they actually do recommend that if you go through any sort of gastric surgery, to wait at least a full year before even conceiving and getting
yeah,
pregnant. So
right.
yes, you definitely didn't want to get pregnant within that first year because that's when you also lose the most weight.
Exactly. So now that I'm 3 years post-op, and I'm no longer taking birth control. Right now, I've been using the rhythm method. So
Yes.
I've been trying to avoid sex. But my periods are regular. I'm not on birth control. My periods are regular. They last in 5 days. So my clots are minimal. So that has probably has a lot to do with my weight loss. I lost 80 pounds.
Yes, we are
So
right there together, sis.
yes, sis.
Congrats. I
Thank you.
love
Thank
to
you.
hear that. Love to hear that. Health first. I do want to ask you then, because for those of you who are receiving your box, hopefully, I want to get into Vagesty. I want to get into Vagesty because what you were able to even share with our listeners and those who were able to grab their hands on our 1 year anniversary box is a disc. It's a
Yes.
reusable disc. And again, that is a menstrual product in which was not even introduced to me when I got my cycle. We all know that it is pads and tampons. And then, of course, you got your liners. However, now as adults, we're learning that a lot of those products that we were putting into us are the things that are causing specifically Black women fibroids, PCOS,
Fibroids.
these
Yes.
heavy clots. There's bleaches and toxins that are in those products that are actually negatively affecting our reproductive system. And so I wanted to talk to you about the research that you did, as well as what led you to really pushing this other usage of a menstrual product.
I'm glad you asked that because yes, the many of the traditional period products out there are filled with chemicals and toxins and all these bad ingredients that we don't need to be putting by our body. So I wanted something that was eco-friendly, reusable, that was body safe. The period disc, the reusable one that Vagesty has, is made out of medical silicone. It is FDA approved.
I love that.
It's reusable, so you can sterilize it in between your cycles, and it lasts for 5 years. So that's saving you hundreds of thousands of dollars
Well,
on period products.
I want to ask you that. What is the
Uh-huh.
proper way to sterilize something that is in me once a month, anywhere from 3 to 7 days, and also how many should I be rotating during my cycle? So let's start with the sterilization. How do I clean my reusable period disc?
So what I do is I boil me a pot of water,
Okay.
and then I take that pot of water and I put it in a bowl that I'm not going to use anymore for food or
Okay.
anything. And I set it in that hot steaming water for like 10 minutes. Same thing what they do with baby bottles. You
Okay.
know, you steam it like that. So that's how I do mine. They do have some foam wash for period cups and period discs, but Vagesty does not offer that at this moment. I'm
Okay.
looking to add that in the future. But right now, what I do and what I tell my customers is to boil it and let it sit for like 10 minutes. And you can either do like, because you wear it for 12 hours now. You
Okay.
can wear it for 12 hours. So when you take it out and you wear it, and you can steam it then, or you can just wait till your cycle in. You can rinse it in between, and then you can sterilize it then once you're done with it for that month.
Okay. But here we go too. Before I get into more questions on the usage of it, can I ask you what your first experience was like using a disc, and maybe what led you to choosing a disc over the traditional pad or tampon?
Okay, yes, I'm glad you asked. That's a good question because pads with the wings, I needed that for my heavy flow, right? And they were getting irritated bikini line. And I was in my clinical rotation for nurse practitioner, and I was with my preceptor, and the patient came in. She was like, "Yeah, because I'm trying this. It's another brand. I'll say their name."
Okay. Right.
And and I went Google it, and I was like, "Okay, let me try this." I was real scared, but I'm like, I don't really like tampons, but let me try this. It's supposed to
Do you
be
know
safe
what
for your
was
body.
do you know what was irritating your panty line? It was just the actual maybe
By me wearing
material.
them all day and all night.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's what I think. It was just rubbing all day. I would wear it for literally my morning, take a shower, changing in between, take a
Change.
shower,
Yep.
put it on. So I was wearing that for like 5 days, and my vagina was like,
It was
"Come on now."
just so you're okay. So it was being irritated, and so you decided to try this. Did you have any mess or spills or hesitations with trying it?
I did at first. I purchased it.
Okay.
And then I said, "Well, let me just try it." So I tried it, and putting it in the first time, I think it took me about 1 or 2 menstrual cycles to get used to inserting and removing it.
Okay.
The best way to do it is to do it over the toilets or either while you're in the shower.
Okay.
When you think about it, you went for 12 hours. So by the time it's time for me to take a shower, I'm taking it out in the shower anyway.
Right. 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 Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, my other question for that, did you notice a difference? I personally will share a little bit. I noticed a difference in my menstrual cycle, not only the length, but the smell and the color when I switched from tampons to pads. So I want
Yes.
to know if you noticed any difference in your scent, the color, the clots, or the length of your period when you switched to the disc instead of using the pad.
Yes. So definitely the odor. I noticed a
Okay.
difference with that. It reduces your cramp. And the mechanism behind it reduces your cramping. Not all women,
Okay.
I would say a majority, but about 80%, is that it applies pressure against the cervix. So if your cervix is
Oh.
cramping and is applying the pressure, that's where decrease the cramps, the pain to you. So I noticed that as well.
Ah, okay. And were you someone who really, what issued? I mean, had the issues of receiving cramps during your period, and so you
Yes,
were
very first 2 days was cramping, moody, just yeah.
just all of that.
Yes.
So you are a women's health nurse practitioner. What is your focus, and what led you to that profession? Because I love also seeing that you have your medical coat on. And
Yes.
ladies, y'all already know, black owned, woman owned Vagesty.
Yes.
And I'm sitting here also talking to a black woman nurse practitioner. So I just want to know what led you down that path. Was it what was it you experiencing birth control early on, PCOS? Was it just your love and desire to get into the healthcare field, knowing that we needed more black women? Can you tell us what led you down this professional path?
Yes. So maternity health has always been my passion. I've been a nurse
Okay.
going on 11 years in December. So I did
Okay.
labor and delivery for about 6 years.
Wow.
So it got to a point to where morbidity and mortality and us, it was like all time high, right? We experience health disparity in the system. Black women and women of color are 2 times more likely to die given in childbirth.
Yes.
So I just wanted to do something different on the other side. Maybe if I can reach you in prenatal care, and teach you the questions to ask and all the signs to look out for how to have a healthy pregnancy, I can do it from another end. So I decided to further my education and I went to grad school. So that's why I specialized in women's health nurse practitioner. It just made more sense. I was doing labor and delivery, so I needed to be in that field, in that specialty.
I love it.
So
I love that you do that. And I also wanted to know kind of what is the number one misconception that you kind of see going, like now that you're in the room, maybe a misconception that a lot of Black women have coming in, maybe even seeing you in the room.
well, believe it or not, well, you probably could believe it that when they see me, um, some the other counterparts see me like, oh, okay. But when us see me, they were like, oh my God, I'm so glad it's you.
I love that that's the reaction. I
Yes.
love that. I love
I
that.
made a TikTok. I didn't expect it to go viral. It got like thousands and thousands. And I was like, when women of color cannot find a provider that's them, that resembles them. And then everybody was in my comment, oh my God, where you at? Can you come where I'm at? I need you. And I was like, oh my God, that's what we need. We need somebody that represent us, that know the struggle that's gonna listen to us. So I'm
100%.
proud and I'm glad to be a part of that.
100%. Getting back to the disc, I know that not all women lose their cycle during pregnancy. So, how safe is it to use the disc during pregnancy? And is there any time that maybe the disc shouldn't be used?
I would say no during pregnancy.
Okay.
No, do not do not. I want and initiate no preterm labor.
Okay.
Um, so no during pregnancy. And the time you shouldn't use it, you
Well,
can
I
pretty
guess
much use it
pregnancy.
all the time. Yeah, just not during pregnancy. Now,
Okay.
if you have like say a woman gets a hysterectomy, of course the discharge instruction is going to be nothing in the vagina
Of
until.
course.
But
Of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
Now, okay, here we go getting a little kinky. So I know
Hmm.
some of the discs, and again, I know there's so many different kinds out there. Some of the discs can be used during intercourse.
Yes.
Is this also something that can be used with intercourse even when I'm on my cycle?
Girl, my husband be looking for it when I'm on my cycle.
Oh,
He be
oh,
like, "Where that thing at? You ain't put that thing in." I be like,
and
"It's
so it's not noticed. Does it move? Like, is it like how can I go in and grab it out, but a whole penis doesn't move it? Only because I know this is.
because
Talk to me.
it sits behind the pelvic bone. If you put it in correctly, it's going to sit behind the pelvic bone. So when he's, you know, when the moment is going,
Oh,
so
he's
my
on
husband said
top.
it's yeah. So it's like underneath, kind of like because it go under the pelvic bone and it's like underneath. My husband said it feels like a condom.
Okay.
Other customers have said that, like their partner might say, "Oh, you got birth control in you," or because you ever heard of the ring and you maybe
Yes.
kind of feel like that. Yeah,
Okay, but it is clean and safe to
it's
use it.
mess free. Instead of getting
All
a
right.
towel,
I'm not gonna
instead of
lie. All right. I'm gonna have to try this. I don't know if I believe it, guys. I am going to sit here and for research purposes, on my heaviest day, I'm gonna put
yeah,
that thing in me and see what the sex is hitting for. Okay. I'm
it's
excited.
mess free. It's
Now let
mess
me
free.
ask you. I know it is sanitizable, uh, reusable. I want to know if I have a 5 to 7 day cycle, how many of your Vagesty discs should I keep in rotation, or am I fine with just one?
Well, for me, I use two sizes. So I have the
Okay.
large, which holds 75 cc's of blood. Then I have a small that holds up to 35 cc's of blood. So like on
Oh,
day
there's a
4 or 5
difference.
for me,
Okay.
yeah, I will use the smaller one because it's not that much blood flow. So you can rotate it like that. Or
Okay.
if you feel comfortable, some women are like, okay, this is not I need to clean, make sure everything is clean. You can sterilize it because you can wear it for 12 hours and maybe you want to try your like organic pad or organic tampon while you're letting it sterilize,
Okay.
and then in the morning you can put it in. You can do it like that. You can alternate.
Is
Hmm.
this also something that is usable and friendly for exercising?
Yes, I tried it.
Okay.
Exercise in it. Yeah, you
Okay.
can go swim in it. You can go swimming with it in.
Okay.
I had it in when I went to Cancun
Okay.
in the BTS. You can have sex with it, mesh-free sex, leave the towels alone and use your disc. You can exercise in it. I've had a customer tell me that they used it for exercise and they love it. It was great. Yes.
Oh, I was waiting for more of the list. I just feel
Oh,
like you can go to the moon in your period disc, ladies. Okay.
basically,
I
you can do anything with it.
I
Cartwheels, all that.
I love it. What would so say someone is listening to this for the first time and maybe they've realized that they're also being irritated by whatever menstrual products they're currently using. What bit of advice would you give to someone maybe with hesitation on switching to the disc or who is like kind of doesn't want to see blood? I just want to know even from a medical standpoint what your advice would be to that person.
Ditch the traditional period products, your pads and tampons, and try the disc. I mean, it's gonna save you money. It's healthy. It's great benefits for you. You can do all kind of things with it. You're saving money. It's just wonderful. I'm never going back to pads.
And I have a friend that literally said that. She said, "Girl, once you get past the blood," she said, she said the same thing. She would never go back to regular menstrual products, and I'm really looking forward to trying mine. And hey, I got your number now. I'm gonna call you and let you know if it made a mess or not in the bedroom.
Okay.
Um, but no, I love that you came on. As you guys know, stay tuned because we have a discount code for you to go on and use over at Vagesty if you weren't able to get your hands on one of our 1 year anniversary boxes. But Annterria, you doing the TikToks, you are educating the girls. Can you go ahead and let us know your website or also where your social media handles so that all of our listeners can come and be educated by all of the gems that you like to drop?
Yes, so my website is vagesty.com. On Instagram, I'm at vagesty underscore. On TikTok, I'm at the Punani practitioner.
I
Okay.
why didn't we lead with that?
I already leave with
Why
that. This
didn't
one.
we lead with the Punani practitioner?
Oh
That's
my
why you over there going viral on TikTok.
goodness.
Cause the name in itself, damn. Oh my
Yes.
God. Okay,
And
well,
then
go ahead.
yeah, on Twitter I can be found at Vagesty underscore as well. Hmm.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Annterria. Like, this was amazing. I'm so glad to have partnered with you. And guys, again, we listen, the white man has fucked up our uteruses for very long enough, okay?
Yes.
So it's time to really take hold of our own bodies and really make some healthy choices out there. And I hope that you guys also do so by supporting Black-owned and women-owned businesses that, again, I love. We are getting in the marketplace and
Yes.
really making a change out here. Thank you again so much
Thank you for
for
having me, Mandy.
joining.
Yes.
Yes.